So why did the cookie wear a hat? Because it was feeling crummy without one. Hi, I'm Leslie with Leslie's Cookies and Treats, and if you love decorating sugar cookies or you want to learn how, you're in the right place. Let's decorate together. So today I'm making ball cap cookies, and if you want to decorate along with me, you're going to need a cookie that's already been flooded and the icing has dried. And then I sketched on a copy of the ball cap onto the cookie with a light gray edible marker. I used the paper piecing method, and if you don't know how to do that, you can take a look at the video in the description for instructions. And then I poked holes in the hat, hoping to prevent the icing from cratering as I piped the cap. And I'm not sure that that works, but it did pretty well in this case. So go ahead and poke some holes in your royal icing using a toothpick or a scribe. And then I'm using a green royal icing in about a 15-second consistency for my cap. And I'm just going to outline the different sections here. I'm going to touch down, lift up with my icing just a little bit, and follow along the line that I made with my edible marker, and then stop squeezing and drop down my line. And this video is playing in real time, so you want to follow along with your icing and drop it down on top of your line. Watch where your line of icing is falling and not your piping bag. And once you have it all outlined, go ahead and flood in the two outer sections of the cap with the same icing. Again, my icing is about a 15-second royal icing. And if you're not sure what that means, I'll leave a link in the description on how you can make your own 15-second royal icing. And then grab a toothpick or a scribe and just settle down your icing and shape it as needed. And pop any air bubbles and make sure that icing gets all the way down to the cookie surface so that you don't get any craters. Sometimes it's also helpful to overfill these little sections a little bit so that you don't get craters. And then let those sections dry until the icing crusts over, which for me was about 10 to 15 minutes. And then you can go ahead and fill in the middle section, following the same process we did before. So flood it in and then use your scribe or toothpick to settle that icing down. And again, overfill it just slightly so that you don't get a crater. A crater is when the icing sinks as it dries, creating a little divot or a dent in your icing. And then let that dry again until the icing crusts over another 15 minutes or so. And then you can go ahead and fill in this bottom part following the same process. And using your scribe or your toothpick to shape the icing and settle it down. And then don't forget the little tiny button at the top. Then I let this cookie dry completely. Before I came back in with some edible dust, I mixed some green with some black. And I'm putting it down on a paper towel. And then I'm going to dip my paintbrush in it and then wipe off all the excess onto the paper towel. And then just come back in and shade in the creases. And I've linked all the products I've used in the description. And then wipe off the excess dust, and these cookies are done. They'd be perfect for Father's Day or any sporting event that you need cookies for. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe button for more sugar cookie inspiration and tutorials.